What's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You guys, it's Woosah Wednesday. You already know what this is. This is Queen Sugar, Season 2, Episode 11, Fruit of the Flower. This was a really good episode, you guys. I missed y'all tremendously. You know, last week I cranked those videos out, and then I was on the boat and off to my parents' 50th wedding anniversary cruise. And although I paid for internet access, it did not, unbeknownst to me, include a streaming service. So I could not do anything on YouTube. I couldn't get a video to load in order to look at the comments. You know what I mean? Then when I got back on Sunday, first of all, I drove there and back because, yeah, your girl's got control issues. I need to be sure that I get back here safely, which means I need to drive. Just a little bit controlling, not a lot, just a little bit. And I was dog tired, you guys. I was sick of eating. I was sick of talking. I really was sick of doing anything other than sleeping. And that is what I did. I slept and slept and slept and slept and slept. Okay, and I enjoy every minute of it. I'm here, I'm back, and I think I'm in full form. So let's get into this episode, you guys. Fruit of the Flower. Really good episode. You already know what to do, you guys. If you are new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I promise you won't regret it. Also, remember to like my video, thumbs up it, as well as comment down below. Your girl is back. Your girl is back, okay? Let me know how you felt about this episode. You guys are going to be a little bit surprised at who my MVPs are for this episode. Now, remember, we're doing a new format, which is I picked 2 MVPs and 2 shining stars, okay? My MVPs for this episode, number 1 is, of course, Nova. Nova killed it this episode. I love the balance in this show. Last week we saw Darla, MVP, as well as Charlie. Just absolutely. It was her moment last week, and she did it. She sort of kept on that trajectory this week, but Nova really shined brightly. She was vulnerable. She was honest. She was reasonable. You know, all of these things has made Nova my MVP for this episode. My second MVP, this is going to be a shocker, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. My second MVP is going to be Lorna, Charlie's mom. I think Lorna killed it this episode, and it gave us an opportunity to see her in the light that maybe Charlie sees her in. Because Charlie does, while she has her issues with her mom, she doesn't really see her mom as villainous. And we got to see that change in more than one perspective on this episode. And I was glad about that, because you guys, it is going to take the entire family to whip these Landrys behind. We cannot have anybody out there that's a possible weak link, okay? So I'm happy about Lorna. I'm happy about the moves that Lorna made this episode. And that is what makes her MVP for this episode. We're going to talk about a little bit later about who my shining stars were. But let's get going real quick. First of all, Nova looks beautiful this whole episode. She is stressing out. She is freaking out. She has a lot of anxiety. Yes, she's going to be on TV. Okay. She's also going to be on TV with her boo and business partner, Dr. Robert, aka Dr. Romance, right? She is feeling a lot of anxiety. Remember, in the last episode, Dr. Romance gave her a key. So when she comes to Atlanta to do this on-camera interview, he wants her to stay with him. So he's giving her a house key. Okay. And so now this, although, you know, she was coming down off of that nookie high last week. So she took that key and she ain't want him to leave it. No, you leave. No, you leave. No, you go. You hang up. No, you hang up. Oh, three hang up, right? This week, the reality is coming into full effect. And I can relate. I can relate. I can relate. I'm a very independent person. And honest and truly, I love hard and I love deep, but baby, it take a lot to get me there. Honestly. I cannot. I don't give my heart away easily at all. And so I can relate to Nova. She's feeling anxiety, so she calls Charlie over, and she's got all her clothes pulled out, and there's clothes everywhere, and she's trying to figure out what to wear, what looks good on camera. And Charlie tells her, maybe buy something new, buy something sexy that Dr. Romance hasn't seen. Nova tells Charlie, he gave me his key, and I just don't know. And so Charlie's like, "What, are things moving too fast?" And she was like, "It's not about the speed, it's just about the fact that I don't know where it is headed, and your girl don't do that. Like, I need to know where this thing, I know how things inevitably are going to end up. In this situation, I'm not really sure, and it's making me nervous." And so Charlie tells her about, hey, listen, I understand that. And to boot, you guys work together, and working together, it can be tricky. So if you feel rushed, don't feel rushed. Take your time. It's okay to be cautious. It's sound advice. It's good advice. Later on, we see Nova in the store, and she's looking for some outfits to wear. The 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 salesperson decides she's gonna pull a couple of outfits. You know how they do, pull a couple of outfits, and Nova's gonna try them on. Nova's not a shopping girl anyway. Well, Dr. Romance calls, and when Dr. Romance calls, okay, she's starting to do that. She's starting to do that push. Get away, but come on, but get away. And she's a little distant. She's a little cold, and she's anxious. She's kind of freaking out a little bit. You know what I mean? Because she's got to not only be on camera, but now she got to go and be with this dude, and she is not sure. And what am I doing? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'd rather be by myself than to deal with all this stress. That's how she was kind of freaking out a little bit. And he's trying to ask her about why she took the hotel that the TV station was giving her. And she was like, well, why not? It's free. But it really was about her trying to keep that distance. Like, I'm going to stay at the hotel and you stay at your house. She was kind of trying to low key turn him down about the house stay, right? But he was like, Nova, Nova, now this over the phone. And so he says, well, fine. We can both stay there, especially it's on their dime, and enjoy the city lights. And she gets quiet. When she gets quiet, he knows, oh, she getting skittish. She gonna buck and run, He already can feel it. She, gets shoveled a little bit and gets off the phone. Later on, we get to see, Nova show up with all the things that she has bought. She shows up at Charlie's house, and guess who's there? Lorna. And for a moment, it is a little bit nasty. Nova just tells Lorna, it's very cordial. Hi, how are you? And all of that. But of course, she spent years hating this woman because this woman took her dad from her mom, is what she has been told. And Lorna begins to talk, and like I said, she's cordial. And Nova's like, I'm not, I can stand here and pretend, but I choose not to. I'm out. And Charlie's like, wait a minute, Nova. And then Lorna starts to talk. And when she first starts to talk, I was like, Lorna. Don't say that else. Let her go on, because you don't want to get windmill. You do not want to get windmill up in this camp. I mean, there has been some pretty strong feelings, between the borderlones, women and men. I'm sure Ralph Angel has his own feelings about the situation, and Lorna. And Lorna just starts to tell it. Oh boy. And it's something about the way Lorna is talking, the way she is expressing herself, that Nova does not go into a rage. She listens. She listens and she hears the truth in what Lorna is saying about um her dad having left her mom because her mom was a free spirit, much like Nova is right now. Her mom didn't want this traditional lifestyle, much like Nova is right now. And her daddy, Ernest, wanted to settle down and be married. She was very honest. She said the first day, our first date, from the moment we sat down, he told me he loved your mom, Trudy. Okay, he always talked about how much he loved her, but Trudy was a free spirit, much like Lorna. Much like Nova. She dated men, she saw men, but she wasn't going to be tied down or confined by a man. And Ernest loved her. When he found out that Trudy was pregnant with Nova, he came back, left Lorna, and Lorna thought he was going to be gone for good. And Trudy sent him packing and told him, I'm in love with the thing that's hidden inside of you, a thing that's hidden inside of you, but I won't hide with you. Oh, her freedom she loved more. Some people are just that way. They just prefer a solitary life. They will dance in between the lines, but they will not stay. And that's how Trudy was. And it's a really, really emotional moment. It really, really is, because you get to learn how much Lorna loved Ernest. You get to learn how much Ernest loved Trudy. You get to see how hard it has been for Charlie all of this time to be caught between her mom and the Borderlones, knowing how much the Borderlones hated her mother and how much she loved her mother, how that has been hard on her. They are all crying. It is a moment, you guys. It is a huge, huge moment. And um later on we get to see Nova go and see Aunt Vi. And Aunt Vi has been having trouble with fibromyalgia. That's what the doctor told her, that she thinks that she has fibromyalgia. I don't know what's going on with Aunt Vi health, y'all. I don't know, but I really need to know some more solid information about her health. I don't need Aunt Vi just upping and dying on me, okay? I don't like it. I want to know what's going on with Aunt Vi so we can help her. Anyway, I digress. So she takes her a little marijuana, little medicinals, and some oils and stuff to help with her hands and the soreness in her muscles and all of that. And she begins to ask Aunt Vi, about her mom. Very specific. Did mom send dad away when I was pregnant? Did Lorna take dad, or did mom send him away? Okay. And she's just really, really honest about the fact that she really felt like she disliked Lorna because everybody else disliked her. But honestly, when she thought about it, she never remembered her mom having anything ugly to say about Lorna. And so she felt like that Aunt Vi had sort of influenced her to hate Lorna. And Aunt Vi is a little resistant, but she has to come full circle with this thing within herself. They all felt like Ernest and Trudy were meant to be forever and ever. But Trudy was a free spirit. Okay? She did not want to be tied down. Point blank, period. Didn't matter how good they were together. She didn't want to be tied down. And Ernest wanted a more traditional life. I admitted it. And in that moment, Nova she says, I feel like I need to get to know Lorna for myself. Okay, I need to get to know her for myself. And later on, she takes all of this information and she shows up at Dr. Romance's um apartment in Atlanta, and she is dressed beautifully. That printed dress, top, whatever it was bananas. Okay, your girl is, y'all don't even know. Queen Sugar is influencing me in ways like you do not even know. These prints, man, come on. Anyway, Dr. Romance is like, oh, I'm surprised that you're here. And she's like, I know. First of all, I don't know how she could sit there without running into his arms and just wrapping her legs around him. He is so cute. He is so fine. Um, but she tells him, basically that their last conversation wasn't great. It's her fault. She's sorry that she has been pushing him away and running, and now she knows why. All right. And she doesn't want to repeat this. She doesn't want to repeat what her mom Trudy did to Ernest. Here is a man who loves her, who treats her well, and she needs to reciprocate. Nova, I'm going to give it to you, girl. I'm going to give it to you. The light came on and you saw very, very clearly what was right in front of your face all that time. Okay, and you went and you got your man. Okay, you made it clear to your auntie. Okay, you were a grown up, you were forthright, you were humble, and when you stood there and listened to that woman without trying to argue back and trying to debate the point and trying to be right, and you heard that truth and you reasoned with that woman about that truth, or reason with yourself about that truth, girl, that is a sign of a mature woman. Okay, and I loved it. Absolutely. 100% Nova's one of my MVPs, okay? My second MVP is Lorna. Okay, Lorna, it goes out with Remy and Charlie to look at the park place where they're gonna have the sugar festival, and they're gonna crown the queen Brown Sugar Queen. I love it. I love it. I love it. Charlie is excited. And Lorna's not shooting her ideas down. She's just always this voice of reason about, you're going to spend all this money. You don't have money coming in. And do you really want to do this just to impress people? And shout out to Charlie. Charlie tells her, this little dream of mine, I'm going to make it happen. Okay. Our community needs this. They have invested so much into the meal. This is our way of giving back. This is what we're going to do. Well, Lorna sets out unbeknownst to her daughter to help her. One, she invites her out to play golf. Charlie's an excellent golf player, and she gets to meet this guy who is a distant relative of the Landrys. Now, she finds this out because he is telling her, hey, your mom says you've got a great meal out there. I'd love to tour your facility. I've got 20,000 acres of sugarcane. Well, don't you do business with the Landrys? That's what she asked the guy. And the guy said, well, we the black sheep of the family. He don't give us the family discount. And she's like, what? He was like, yeah, we the black sheep. And he wants to, maybe do business. So yeah, she is giving Charlie the business in terms of constantly reminding her of the things that she needs to remember when it comes to business and how to run a solid business. Okay. But at the same time, she's putting options in front of Charlie. She wants Charlie to join this golf club because it's not exclusive, and they will be willing to take her membership. It's another way for her to do some networking. So Charlie is thinking about that. And she's thinking about these 20,000 acres, this sugar cane. This could really blow up Shawade for her. So her mom is helping her. Not saying, oh, do me a favor, but she is showing Charlie a different way. I love that about her. We also get to see Lorna meet Micah and Kiki. Micah introduces Kiki to Lorna, and Lorna tells them a little bit about how she met Ernest, and we saw a picture of Lorna and Ernest. It's in a beautiful picture, beautiful enough. Lorna worked on a base, and that's how she met Ernest. And they started going out, and of course, eventually got married. Well, she asked Kiki. She says, well, I hear you're into art, and who's your favorite artist? And I was feeling some type of way because sometimes people will ask you a question thinking that you don't know the answer or that your experience in that subject matter is very limited. And when you start rattling it off like Kiki did, Kiki was like boom, da boom, da boom, da boom, da boom, and oops, I also love so and so and so and so and so and so. I mean, very she loves art. She's well read on the subject of art, and she talks about, going to art school, but if she can't afford it, getting a job and saving up money to go and see some of the art pieces that she's only seen in books. And she finds out that Michael was taken to see some of these art pieces when he was 13 years old because his grandmother is a world traveler. So when she met Kiki, she seemed genuinely glad to meet Kiki. I like Lorna. I don't have a problem with Lorna yet. I do not. I know we were supposed to because we had this idea of what was happening in this storyline, but now we're seeing there are some different variations to this story. All right. That conversation that Lorna had with Nova was so important. It was also very, very brave of Lorna because Lorna could feel like, you know what, what's the use? What's the use? These people feel some type of way about me. I'm not going to continue trying to explain myself, but that's what you do if you love your daughter. That's what you do if you love your grandson and you want peace, is you just continue to try to explain or to apologize or so on and so forth, whatever the situation is, to make it better. And I commend Lorna for that because that took a certain amount of bravery. And I appreciate her for that. Later on, Vi comes to see Charlie and she finds Lorna there. Now, she's had this conversation with Nova and she's kind of, thought to herself, well, maybe I was disliking her because, she was breaking up the things that we knew. I thought that she was breaking it up. I felt like Trudy would have just eventually been with Ernest if Lorna never was in the picture. Also, it comes to light in this episode that um, Aunt Vi has a problem with white people. When Hollywood brings a coworker home, even though he cleared it with her, to bring somebody over for dinner, she wasn't going to be there. Him and the white guy finished watching the game, and in comes Aunt Vi, and Aunt Vi is shocked that he's there. She's got a problem with a white person being in the house. She feels like this is a sanctuary, and everything she knows about white people is that they are this way or the other. Okay? And she doesn't want them in her home. I know a lot of people that are that way. I understood what Aunt Vi was saying, but me personally, I try to treat people with the same respect that I want to be treated with. For some people, it is harder to get over and harder to overcome. And Hollywood expresses his disappointment. She blames it on the generation gap between the two of them. This is something, no matter how much how good our rhythm is. This would explain, our generation gap it's going to be here because I feel this type of way. You don't understand where I'm coming from. And he said, this ain't got nothing to do with age, Vi. Nothing at all. And he walks off in disappointment. So it's Hollywood's disappointment as well as Nova's reality check. Now that she's having this conversation with Lorna, she tells Lorna, your being here reminds me of Ernest being gone much more than I care to. And it's a moment of vulnerability. And Lorna says, I know. And she says, I miss him too. Being here, especially because it seems like this is where he belongs. And every place around here reminds me of him. He loved the land. He loved Nola. And he loved the farm. You know what I mean? And his family, of course. And so, she says, I loved him so much. And Aunt Vi concedes and she says, I know. And she says, I really, really miss him too. And Aunt Vi says, I know. And it's a moment. Lorna's getting ready to leave and head on back to wherever it is, or travel or whatever. But she has had an opportunity here to clear up a lot of different things, not just with Charlie, but with Aunt Vi, as well as with Nova. And I'm going to go on record to say once again that it was extremely, extremely brave of her to speak her truth, to stand in it. She needed to say what really, really happened, and she needed to do it respectfully, and I think that's what she did. So Lorna's my second MVP. Okay. My two shining stars for this episode. My first shining star is going to be Remy. Um Remy had a little speech that he gave Ralph Angel that moved me so deeply. First of all, Ralph Angel has had such a shitty attitude since this second season began, back from episode 1. Y'all know I sympathize with Ralph Angel. I love Ralph Angel. Ralph Angel is fine. But he has just proven himself to be such a wounded bird. And Ralph Angel's the kind of individual that feels entitled to walk around and verbally just set fire to everything. And then when he's ready to be okay or to be good, then everybody should be good. This is how he's doing Lorna this episode. Darla this episode. Well, he's taking an ag class, and he's also going to counseling with Darla. And Darla, when they get to counseling, she says we need to learn how to fight. They both list communications, but we know we need to learn how to fight fair. And so the priest tells them, ask them about their parents' relationship. And of course, y'all know that Darla don't really like to talk about her mama and daddy too tough, but we learned that Darla's father is in the church, and we learned that Darla's mama is a church mouse. So maybe they not Landry's, okay? Maybe they are, but maybe they not. We also learned that Trudy, Ralph Angel's mom died when he was 10. And all he can remember is that his mom and dad were always kissing and hugging and loving on each other. That's why everybody thought they was inseparable and that they was destined to be together. But one thing really in at the end of the day don't have nothing to do with the other. You can have all the chemistry in the world, y'all, but if one person or the other don't want to yield and give and become two instead of one, it's nothing you can do. Okay, so the priest gives them homework. Well, like I said, Ralph Angel taking the ag class. Well, guess who the professor is in the ag class? Okay, it is Remy. Remy is smart, and he is no nonsense, and he is concise. Ralph Angel is sitting in the class. He is feeling some type of way. Most of the people in the class are Caucasian. Most of them seem to be a little bit younger than him, like new college students. And Remy asks a question, and Ralph Angel answers it under his breath. Now, he knows the answer to the question because Ernest, his father, has taught him these things, him or Prosper. He's learned this from working the land, okay? The little white girl in front of him answers. Well, she doesn't know the reason behind the answer. And so when Remy asks her, she says, I don't know, I just said what he said. And Remy asked Ralph Angel, well, why? And Ralph Angel doesn't really know for sure. And so Remy sort of makes an example, not in a very demonstrative way. He sort of makes an example of Ralph Angel in that it's not enough just to know how to do something, but we need to know the why behind it, a little bit of the science behind it, because that knowledge will affect everything going forward. It'll make you that much more of a better farmer, right? So a couple of people laughed in the class. It wasn't at Ralph Angel, I don't think. It was just I don't know, but Ralph Angel took it all so personally. In the class, Remy walks up to him and is feeling like, and Ralph Angel does him just like he do Darla. You're in this moment of happiness. It's like you're blindsided by his anger and his seething rage. Like he said that Remy embarrassed him and that he understood why him and Charlie get along so well. They just alike, they know it alls. And so later on, when Darla and Ralph Angel at the High Yellow, and he just being kind of crappy, kind of poopy acting, you know what I'm saying? He acting real shitty towards. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, just slick at the mouth, just I'm so sick of Ralph Angel. Like, in that speech that Remy gave him, he needed to hear it desperately, okay? Because Dollar done about had enough of Ralph Angel. He tells her he wants to go to counseling, not because of counseling, but because he want to marry her. It don't work like that, Ralph Angel. You got to also love and support her. You got to have empathy. You got to have a compromise. You got to meet her halfway. You cannot rule over her. Okay? And love ain't enough. What love got to do with it, Ralph Angel? Now you done made me mad. Anyway, so Remy stops him. He trying to get up and walk out around Remy, and Remy stops him, and he got that look. First of all, he's breathing heavy in anger. I mean, he's seething and jaw clenched. I can't do it. And then he kind of, and Remy stands there toe to toe with him, man to man with him, and tells him, listen, I apologize if I came across like I was putting you down in any way. That wasn't my intention. You got to believe that from my heart, and I'm sorry. Okay? That's that's grown up thing to do. Number one. Number two, he says, but man, you got this baggage, and if you don't put it down, you're going to destroy everything around you. He said, but you know what? I love you so much. If you don't put it down, that's okay. I'll help you carry it because that's how much I love you. It was a good moment. That's why Remy is my shining star. Because one, ain't nobody scared of you, Ralph Angel. I'm a man too. Okay? Adversity is everywhere. All right? You're going to have to learn how to deal with it. You cannot burn and verbally lay waste to everyone and everything you know just because you mad. Just because something ain't fair. Okay? But at the same time, he saw where Ralph Angel was coming from. He could understand why maybe some of the things he said or how it went down, although none of it was on purpose, none of it was malicious or anything, how a person could take things the wrong way. Okay, and he acknowledged it. But he also pulled Ralph Angel's coattail, and it ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna give Remy the Shining Star Award for this episode, you guys. My next Shining Star episode, for this episode, I was torn. I was torn between Kiki and Hollywood, but I'm gonna go ahead and roll it out to Hollywood, and I'm gonna tell you why. Hollywood love Aunt Vi. He keeping an eye on Aunt Vi. And even though she trying to out slick him and out canoodle him, you know what I'm saying, to keep him distracted from knowing what's really going on her and caring about her, Hollywood is one of the most consistent characters outside of Remy on this show. Okay? Is it wrong for a man to want to love and take care of his woman? Okay? And when she pulled that stunt where she didn't want no white folks in her house, and he was like, are you serious? He called her out on it. Just like Kiki called out Michael last week. He called her out on it. He was just honest. He did it in love, but he showed her. He was disappointed that she had that mindset because that's not who we are. That's not who we are. It has nothing to do with age. It has nothing to do with generation. We treat people how we want to be treated. Okay? And for him standing up to her in that manner, even though he loves her, he'll do anything he can for her. This right here, he was not going to allow. And the reason why he wasn't going to allow it is because it's no good for her. This hatred for white people is no good for her. It's no good for her heart. Okay, it's no good for her business. Aunt Vi's doing real good with these pies now. She got a $50,000 advance to put the pies in the grocery store. Well, she supports all of that. And lastly, he makes a decision that he's not going to work this job anymore. They've got an extended contract, more overtime hours, and more money, all of this. But because he finds out that the Landrys are investors in it, he can't work it. That's loyalty, you guys. That's loyalty, and it's worth something. This was a good episode. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all think that well, how did y'all feel about Lorna and Nova in that scene? How did y'all feel about Nova going to talk to Dr. Romance and just letting him know I'm scared. I am so scared, but I'm willing to jump into the deep end of the ocean and just swim, okay? And just swim with you, boo. I loved it, okay? What did y'all think about Lorna, okay? Being brave enough to tell what really went on. Okay, it was a good moment. What did y'all think about Ralph Angel? Y'all, I want to like Ralph Angel again. If he don't get his ish together, when he was sitting at that table at the High Yellow door and texting, I halfway thought he was texting that white chick that was sitting in front of him, because she kind of gave him a lingering look, like a little flirtatious, right? Was it me, or was she flirting? Then he was sitting there texting, and kind of ignoring Darla. I'm like, Ralph Angel, don't do this. Don't do this, Ralph Angel. Do not do this. Don't do it. Okay, I don't know. I'm just saying. Y'all know I'm naturally suspicious. Okay, you guys. Y'all tell me what y'all thought about this episode. Did I miss anything? I miss y'all so much. Let's talk about it down below. Okay. I love you, honeybees. Remember, you guys, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Remember to thumbs up. Remember to share my videos. Until next time, honeybees. Mwah. I'll holla.